Hello, hello. We are doing a very special conference this week for Mother's Day. Even though Mother's Day has been gone, past, done, we're still celebrating Mother's Day here. And we want to invite all of you in our extended community to participate with us. So we've been studying why Ashtanga and talking about Sthira Sukham and working first on our strength and finding our rooting and our grounding. And from that, we're able to move into our lightness, both in our physical body, our energetic body, and our emotional body. So this week we started talking about Sukham, which is what? Our lightness, our softness, our ability to let go of things. And so in thinking of Mother's Day, I had this vision of honoring all of your mothers that brought you into the world. And also I had this fun time where I thought I was looking around the room and imagining all of you as like little children, like Annette when she was 2 years old, and Gary when he was 3, and Renee when she was just learning how to walk. And what I was thinking is all of you as children, just like little children, is when you were fully in your Sukham. You know, like first off, we were so flexible, right? We could put our foot in our mouth and behind our head, and we're like little gummy caterpillars. But also we hadn't been restricted yet or tainted, and so we thought that we were fairies and that we were superheroes, and we played and we were silly and we dressed in colorful. I just saw one of my nieces, and she had this great dress on, but then when I looked down, she was sitting in a chair. She had these knee-high socks on that were striped black and orange, and then these great shoes with bows on them, and I thought, oh, how we used to express ourselves without any inhibitions, you know, like in our dress and in our way of being, and also in our way of loving, you know, sharing also I love for all of your children to come visit here at the Shala and get to know them a little bit. And one of my favorite little ones right now will tell her mom that she loves the yoga lady, and she comes in and gives me this big hug and says, I love you. And I feel like I didn't even earn that, you know, like I didn't have to do anything but just be the yoga lady and be loving to her. And I'm like, when we're in Sukham, we're like that, you know, we're just open and we're loving and it's unconditional. And so it came back to the thought for me of Mother's Day, and I wanted to just have all of us sit with it a little bit different this year and say that your mother brought you into this world, but your mother gave you life, which is the greatest gift that we can receive is life. And whether your mom is on this side or on the other side, whether you have a really close, great relationship with her or whether you have a challenging relationship, no matter what, like to just sit for a moment, all of you, wherever you are in the world right now, or those of you in the room with me, to just close your eyes for a moment and visualize your mom and just think of her as being the soul that brought you into this world and gave you life, gave you a name, gave you a body, and gave you the ability to have a life. And how much that fills us with gratitude to think that this person brought us into the world and gave us the ability to have a life. And what I then thought about from that place of my mother and her giving me this life, giving me the name Diana and this ability to be Diana in this lifetime is, aside from overwhelming gratitude, is this idea that like, now what am I gonna do with it? The most she could do is give me life. But now the question is, what do I do with this life? In sort of a big sense, but also just in a daily sense, like what am I doing with this gift I was giving today? One of the quotes I used for this Mother's Day was the Hafiz, a Sufi poet, quote, which for me has really become more of a mantra, sort of a way of like trying to live the days of my life. He said, when all life's desires are distilled, you will cast just 2 votes, to love more and to be happy. And it's poetry, so it's a bit veiled. So that first bit about when all life's desires are distilled, it really means like when you take your last breath. When you take your last breath, what will really matter to you? Will it matter how much money you had in the bank, how many degrees you had, how successful you were? And I think what will really matter, and if you've lost someone you love or if you've come close to maybe death yourself, you do really sit with this thing that what really matters is love. And what really matters is being happy, like living a joyful, happy life and loving. And so on Mother's Day, I really come back to this thought of like, what am I doing today, as Mary Oliver would say, with this one wild, precious life that I was given, that you were given. And the second quote I used was from Brene Brown. She just did a Netflix show, which is really funny and amazing, called Call to Courage. I highly recommend that everybody watch it. But she starts off this, it's like a long TED Talk, and she said, the older I get, the more I realize that time is a big, precious, non-renewable resource. And I feel like, that's our one precious life, and on Mother's Day, thinking of our mother, thinking that she gave us life, but thinking that if all of our moms could ask us, like in this most spiritual, real kind of way, like, but I gave you this life, but what are you going to do with it? It's a beautiful Mother's Day, gratitude and call to action. Namaste.